Honestly, this probably shouldn't be the first... Honestly, this probably shouldn't be the first movie that I start my drunk reviews on, but fuck it.
Why did you say that name?
It's his mother's name. It's his mother's name.
Batman... Batman versus Superman. Here we go. Here we fucking go. You know what? I'm just gonna start with the good. I'm just gonna start with the good things that I can. The cast is great. You got Ben Affleck, Batfleck, if you will, Henry Cavill, Amy Adams. Who else is in this fucking movie? Jesse Eisenberg. Let's just get through this shit. Alright, the good. In the first 15 minutes, you know exactly what Batman's motivations are for wanting to beat the shit out of Superman. You know exactly what they are. That first 15 minutes where he's seeing the destruction that Superman and Zod is causing is it's fucking great. You don't need to see Batman for... Oh god. He destroyed the city. He killed some people that he knew. And so Batman is like, how am I supposed to feel safe when there's this one man out here that can destroy the world in the snap of his fingers and there's nothing we can do about it? Not a goddamn thing. So if I can figure out how to kill him right now, then maybe I could jump the gun a little bit. So Batman in this movie is fine. That is the absolute best part about this movie. It's not the fight scenes, because the fight scenes are mediocre at best. It's not Superman for goddamn sure. It is Batman. Batman is the saving grace of this movie. Now let's get into the rest of this fucking... We're gonna take this thing step by step. Let's start with Lex Luthor's motivation and plan. Why does Lex Luthor hate Superman? We get this whole monologue scene between him and Holly Hunter where he's explaining, oh, devils don't come from beneath us, they come from the sky above. And you know, it's very metaphorical, it's very symbolic, and I get it. But at the same time, I don't feel the hate that Lex Luthor feels for Superman that I do for how Batman feels about Superman. Like Lex Luthor, like we just get introduced to him, he's showing this bitch a painting, and that's it. Batman, we watch Superman destroy the whole motherfucking city. So it's just like, oh, you know, we get it. Lex Luthor, he's just like, oh, devils come from the sky. That's it. And so that's pretty much his motivation for being this evil doer. Whatever. And honestly, if that was the only bad thing about this movie, then, you know, it would be alright. Whatever. But it just builds and builds and builds. His whole plan is to make Superman look bad. He's trying to put the blame on him for the deaths in Africa, which is the worst part of the movie, plus the shit that happened in Man of Steel. And then he tries to get him to kill Batman, which, if I streamline it like that, it really doesn't sound that bad. But in the film, it is so fucking sloppy. It is all over the goddamn place. The movie starts out with Lois Lane and our boy Jimmy Olsen. They're going to interrogate some terrorists in Africa. And then Superman comes in and saves Lois Lane after some gunfire goes off and shit. And so this African woman comes out, and this is literally in the first 15 minutes. We never see this African woman for the rest of the film. But this is such a detrimental part of the film that it's a shame that I even have to bring it up, because there was no reason any of this should have been in the movie. This is absolutely, hands down, the worst part of the movie. They're trying to frame Superman for murders that happened in Africa. Lois Lane's trying to track down a bullet, and like we find out that it comes from LexCorp, but like, why does it even matter? Who the fuck is actually gonna believe that Superman murdered all these people? If Superman is your hero, if he's your symbol of hope, who in the world would actually believe that Superman would have something to do with these murders? And so we get into this whole thing whereas to whether or not Superman is good for the world or not. And you know what? Honestly, that part of the film really works for me, because that is some great shit. It's the Superman question. It really is. It's the superhero, Superman question, whatever you want to call it. It's like, what if we actually in this world had a Superman? What would his responsibilities be to us and to the entire world? And so for me, that is great shit. Like, it really makes you stop and think. It's like, if you were Superman, what would you do? Would you do the right thing all the time, or would you do the right thing only when you feel like it was necessary? I really do respect that part of the movie, because it takes a break from your summer blockbuster to really just ask you a question and try and make you think for yourself as to what the answer is. And so, like, and you don't get shit like that in summer blockbusters. And so for that, you know, I commend it. Why does Superman hate Batman? I can see you in the comments right now. It's like, oh, he was giving the people that he beat down, he was giving them a brand, and if the people in prison, if they saw the brand, they were gonna get murdered. But Superman was snapping niggas' necks in the last movie. Like, so what does it really matter? What is Superman's reason for actually being mad at Batman for branding people? And, you know, maybe they get a chance in jail if they have the brand, you know, maybe they get a chance to protect themselves, you know, maybe they make it out, maybe they get murdered, who knows? But if you got that Bat brand, you got a target on your back. Chances are you're probably gonna get murdered in prison. At least that's the way the film portrays it. And so Superman gets all huffy and puffy. He's like, oh, well, we shouldn't be treating criminals like this. So it's like, really, you're getting mad over a man who's giving someone a chance to fend for himself in the penitentiary when you're out here snapping necks. Like, what are you really mad about? You're a hypocrite, honestly. The thing I hate about this movie is that it has good bones. It's just that when you see it from the outside, you're just like, God damn, you're ugly. And what I mean by good bones is, like, there's good stuff in there. Like the Superman question, Batman. Literally, that is what Batman vs. Superman is all about. The Dark Knight Returns is literally the Superman question versus the Dark Knight himself. They don't present that at all in this movie. They like go the extra mile to do all this Dawn of Justice bullshit. They try to tease Flash and Cyborg and Aquaman. For whatever reason, Wonder Woman's in this fucking movie. All you need in this movie, literally, you don't need Wonder Woman in this movie. I'm gonna tell you, here. I'm gonna tell you how to fix Batman vs. Superman right the fuck now. You take out all this Lois Lane trying to track down a bullet African bullshit. Take that out. Take out Wonder Woman. And then you take out the kidnapping of Superman's mom. Because everything was fine. Everything was at least pretty decent leading up until the kidnapping of Superman's mom. Because Lex Luthor's whole plan, it was building. It was building, and it's just like, the thing that got us to get this Batman vs. Superman fight wasn't the whole hour and 45 minute build up. It wasn't any of that. It was that Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor, he kidnapped Superman's mom and he was like, you have an hour to kill Batman. And that's it. Literally, they could have started the fucking movie that way. They could have started the whole movie that way. And we didn't need any of the other shit. You literally, you take out that, son of a, oh my god. I'm ranting, son of a bitch. You take out the first hour and a half of the movie and nothing changes. Not a goddamn thing. Because the only reason Superman goes to fight Batman is because Lex Luthor kidnaps his mom. That is the only reason. So the first hour and a half doesn't mean shit. And then on top of that, they fucking throw Doomsday in there like it's fucking nothing. And it's just such a waste. There's 3 ways to critique this film. There's the comic book way, there's the film critique way, and then there's the general audience way. In the comic book way, this film is a goddamn travesty. I don't know who in their right mind thought it was a good idea to mix The Dark Knight Returns with the death of Superman. Those are 2 completely different stories. 2 absolutely different stories. We get it all in one movie. Like it annoys me so much because those are the 2 greatest comic books of like all time. The goddamn Dark Knight Returns and the death of Superman. Like, how do you fuck that up? That's 2 movies. That's just box office like a motherfucker. If you're in the marketing department, you could at least just think like, hey, why don't we just break this thing into 2? Fuck that. They just want to, like, here's the problem with DC. They just want to just keep on, I'm ranting like a motherfucker. Oh my god. Here's the problem with DC. They want to make an Avengers movie so goddamn bad. They're trying to get this Justice League shit out so bad that they're willing to risk everything. They're throwing everything in the fucking pot and they're like, fuck it, let's see what happens. On a comic book nerd scale, this movie is absolute trash. It is terrible, terrible, terrible. I don't understand why they felt they needed to throw Flash in the middle of the movie. Like, just literally, just in the middle of the movie. They're like, hey, we don't want to be like Marvel. We don't want to do that shit at the end of the credits. So just, hey, just throw it in the middle of the movie. Find somewhere to put it. Throw it in the middle of the movie. Fuck it. Oh, and fucking Martha? Oh my god.
Why did you say that name? Martha, why did you say that name?
Stop! Please, stop!
Why did you say that name?
I get the Martha thing, you know? I get it, you know? Superman says Martha. It triggers some shit for Batman. He's like, oh, you know... It's so stupid. It triggers some shit for Batman, and he's like, oh, you know, maybe if I could save his mom, it's like a second chance for saving my mom. He doesn't say that, but that's pretty much how it is. That's how it registers for him. He's like, oh, who's Martha? Why'd you say that name? There's the film critic way, which is absolute trash, because literally the story is just so all over the fucking place. Like, I'm trying to explain this to you as best as I can, but at the same time, you're gonna watch this movie and they're gonna start talking about the white Portuguese and shit, and then Wonder Woman's gonna show up, and then Superman's gonna be like, oh, well, I don't like the shit Batman's doing, and then Batman's gonna find some other shit, and then Superman's gonna have this shit to do with Africa. Like, it is so all over the fucking place. So, as a film critique, this film is fucking trash. So that's 2 out of the 3 ways that this film is fucking trash. But as a general audience member, as someone who just wanted to go see this movie, which is what I do these reviews for, but for the general audience that doesn't give a shit about the filmsy shit like cinematography and all that lighting and all that bullshit, if you don't care about that, and if you don't care about the comic book lore behind it, like, honestly, this movie is a C- for you. But for me, it's a D-, and you should be fucking lucky. You should be fucking lucky. Honestly, you really shouldn't. It really doesn't matter to you. It really doesn't. But you should be fucking lucky that I give this a D-, that it's not a shit emoji. Like, the thing that pisses me off the most about this goddamn movie is that we're not gonna see Doomsday, we're not gonna see Batman vs Superman or Doomsday for another 10, 15 years until they reboot this whole entire shit. And so this is what we're stuck with. I wanna give this movie an F. So bad. I wanna give it a shit emoji. So fucking bad. I've been thinking about this moment for so long, when I could actually just sit on a camera and just rant and rant and rant and just go in, but for the love of God, I cannot give this movie an F. And it's simply because the movie has good bones. That is it. That is the only reason why this movie is not a shit emoji. That is the only reason why, because it has good bones. It's nice and strong from the core. You know what this movie wants to be when it starts and when it ends. You know exactly what this movie intends to be. And so you can feel the effort that Zack Snyder put into this film. You can feel it. You know how hard that they tried on this movie. And so for that reason, I cannot give it an F. Alright guys, we got Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman, alright, we got something good. We got Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman coming up next. So stay tuned for that. Like, comment, subscribe, and let's pray and pray to the gods that Justice League will be good. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Tell me.